So got me a new phone and I lost a whole bunch of stuff that I was doing on here. So bear with me, this might be a little bit chunky. But anyway, I've been still having trouble with a stumble off the line. And it's like, I can't get better than a 2 second 60-foot time. I got a 430 gear. I got a low first gear in the transmission. I should be able to 60-foot like skin hell, but I can't because I'm either stumbling when I get traction, or if I spin, then the revs come up and things seem okay. Now I get it. That indicates to me that I need a converter, but I've only got like 2 races that I'm able to make for the rest of the year, and I'm not. I spent enough money this year that converters next year country. So anyway, I'm gonna screw around and I'm gonna do what I can, and we'll figure out what we can do to make this thing take off the line. It's been better. I just got to figure out where I turned out wrong. Oh, and stick around to the end because there's a bit of a funny twist to the way this turned out. Yeah, I'm a dummy. I should have known better. Well, the first thing is if you look right down here, you can see that that's the transfer slot. I've got those set. This is actually not the carburetor I'm using. This is just the one I'm showing you so you can see a transfer slot. And I've got that set so it's just about square. That's pretty much where you want it, where you need it to ensure that you're gonna get that transition from idle to your next circuit going really well. Now, if you see this hole here, that's actually just controlled by your idle screws. This carb here is just a 2 corner idle, but it's going to kind of be my next victim when it comes to screwing up a carburetor and making it not work the way it's supposed to work. But anyway, that's where I started with the transfer slots. Now, when it comes to these transfer slots, like to adjust them, just basically the idle mixture screw is what adjusts how much of the transfer slot you see. Everybody thinks, in order to get these things to idle right or at the right speed, you just crank on that screw. And that's basically what you're doing is you're opening up extra amount of that transfer slot and you're going to affect your stumble off the line. Now, you can go a little bit more than this. I try and keep it about square like this. Some people say that you can go, as much as this much, almost like kind of double square. But I like to keep them as closed as I can. They seem to get the best idle that way. And then a guy can take and you can adjust your actual idle speed with with timing and with your idle mixture screws. But that's the way I do it. I'm not saying that's the way everybody needs to do it, but that's where I do it. Now, another here too, this is on the secondary. This is a vacuum secondary. And depending on how fancy your carburetor is and whatnot, they're all different. But this one actually hangs the secondary air doors open just to assist and give you a little more idle air. But the crap part about these, you can see the screw, it's only really available from below. So it's really tough. You got to pull it off, make an adjustment, put it back on and check it. Or actually what I did one time is I just built a little 90-degree flat screwdriver for adjusting that. I have to say though, most of the time, especially with any kind of half-assedly stockish engine, leave that sucker alone. It'll only lead you to tears. And another thing I did, right or wrong, I may or may not regret this, but I pulled the choke entirely off my double pumper because, well, I kind of got angry because of the fact that it's such a pain in the ass to change the primary side squirter with the choke plate in there. So I pulled it off. It's really not that much different to drive and to start cold than it was before, because I don't know, electric chokes are a love them or hate them sort of a deal. You can get them set, but anyway, I'm gonna run it with no choke for now, and we'll see what, if any, difference that makes. But I will tell you, changing that primary squirter is a whole hell of a lot easier deal with that choke plate out of there. Now I knew pump cams would make a difference. I didn't realize how much of a difference that they make. So I really started researching and watching a bunch of information. And, I always think, I got a pretty good handle on how these things work. And, you're always learning something. I love carburetors because you never know what, like, I don't know. It's so much fun, and it's just really, really interesting to me personally. I can't envision ever going fuel injection. I shouldn't say that. It might happen someday. But anyway, I started messing with the cams and putting a little more aggressive cams in there. And I'll show you where that brought me. So if you look at this, it just sits in there just like this. And this top screw hole is where we were attached before. Now when I move it to the second screw hole, it's going to slide this whole cam up. And basically, as it slides the whole cam up, it will initiate more pump shots sooner in the travel of the butterflies. And just essentially, you won't get more pump shot, but you'll get it sooner and quicker. And that's the adjustment that I'm hoping to make here. So right in behind here is that pump cam, and you just remove this screw, and you just reposition the cam and put the screw back in. One thing the person's got to remember though is this adjustment here on the secondary, or on the pump skirter, that has to be adjusted when you adjust the cam. It affects it just a little wee bit. And of course, the bigger adjustment the bigger change to the cam, the bigger change that you're gonna have to make here. But just make sure you do that. This one's actually, I don't know, maybe it's okay. I was thinking it was maybe a little bit maladjusted, but it's actually, I think it's okay. Pump cams, quick and easy change. Now I think I'm at a point where I'm just gonna have to go out and test drive this thing. Driven it a little bit, but I just made these last couple changes, and we're gonna see where we go from there. I've got a little bit of dad husband crap to do, but hopefully I'll get a chance to go and test drive this thing a little bit tonight. Well, that was better, but it sure wasn't great. You still, if you roll into it, it actually pulls like a Joe down, but you cannot flat foot it for nothing. So I got digging in a little bit deeper and I Googled up the old pump squirter cam chart. And what I come to realize, I thought I had the red cams in the carburetor, but what it turns out is that it's actually the pink cams, which is the second least aggressive pump cam that Holly makes. So I'm gonna rummage around through my stash and see what I've got. I'd like to only go up one or two kind of in the progression of pump cams, but I'm kind of bound by what I've got in my little kit of used crap that I work out of. So let's see what we can do. So with my orange cam, I ended up I kind of got screwed up with my testing, and I took it. I put the orange cam in, and I took it to the track to see what it was going to do. So I'll just show you a couple clips from there, and we'll figure it out what's going to go on from here. So still, it ended up it wasn't clean off the hit like I wanted it to be. It was better. It was decent. Still wasn't like I wanted it to be. I didn't really take the time to screw around as much as I could have, should have, wanted to, just for a bazillion reasons. The track was shitty. They didn't prep it at all. So we were struggling with traction even more than usual. And honestly, we took to having some fun. And my brother and I lined up against each other a couple times. I was just sort of grudging it, and it was just we were having so much fun. I did sort of forget about trying to tune out my stumble, and I was just basically trying to drive around it instead. And a couple times it turned out real good. I never set no new personal best or nothing like that, but I was running a couple tenths off of where I was last time when it seemed everything was pretty good and the traction was a hell of a lot better. So, you know what? We're just gonna keep working on it. I've got probably close to a month before I can hit the track again. So we're just gonna have to keep working on it, screwing around here, and just figure it out as we can figure it out. My next step is going to be to drop the 37 squirters in there and leave that orange cam in there, and we're going to see where it's going to go from there. It's going to be mostly driving, street driving. I've actually got my street tires on, so I don't have shit for traction right now. But you know what? It's okay. We'll figure it out, and I'll share with you where we're going to go from here. Now, here's a part of the story that pisses me off. Everybody else in the world probably knew, but I didn't know. Not every timing light will properly read the timing on a multiple spark ignition like the MSD that I put in my car. I've been having tuning problems since I put this together this spring, and I always only ever ran stock Mopar electronic ignition to this point, but I've got an MSD6AL in there now, and I'm so pissed off at myself. But I know better than to just set timing to a number and leave it. But you get kind of complacent, and I always knew that 20 initial, 35, 36 total was pretty close to what you want for one of these 360 Mopars. And I just set it at that. But I don't even know really where it is. So what I did is I bought a timing light that is supposed to be able to measure timing on a multiple spark system. Spit that out. And we're going to go from there. I did, when I found this out, I just cranked timing into it until it stopped idling higher. And honestly, it was freaking night and day way better immediately. With more initial timing. I don't know what the number might be. Obviously, numbers don't freaking matter. You just have to have your timing where it's supposed to freaking well be. But anyway, I don't believe any of the stuff that I did with the cams and the squirters and whatnot is going to hurt me. Because with the street tires, you have to think about hitting the gas, and you've lit up these stupid Cooper Cobras. They're a great smoking tire, but they're sure not much for traction. So anyway, I'm gonna throw this light that I bought onto the car once I get it warmed up and whatnot, and I guess we'll see where we go from there. Well, that timing seemed to do it. I haven't put the light on it yet to get a number because all I know is it's working. I'll do that right now. I'm gonna put a fresh set of plugs in it. I'm gonna change the oil. I'm gonna do all the things to get ready for the race day. And I got 2 races left. Believe it or not, it's just the first week in September here. There's only 2 races left. And I'm going to do my best to get out to both of them. It'll just be test and tune, but that's okay. Hopefully they put a little bit of prep down on the track, just because it would be nice just to have a bit of consistency. But you know what? Whatever, we'll see. We'll give her a run. I'm cautiously optimistic I'm going to get a better 60 foot, which is going to equate to a better quarter mile time. And if I can get into the 12s, even if it's a 12:9.99, I'm going to be pretty happy, fellers. So wish me luck, and here we go. We're gonna get at her. If you're interested, I'm going to be making a video from my day at the track and the results that I do get. So stick around, subscribe to the channel if you're interested, and there'll be lots more coming with my goals here. Thanks for watching. Just putting her in race mode. Got the drag slicks, drag radials on there, and I got my pinion snubber in. Just gonna double check the timing and a couple things, and we should be ready to go. Wish us luck.